I'm sober, gay, half deaf, like, come at me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, what can I do? You know, even though lots of things. But
hi, beautiful human. It's bad. Oh my God, we're really having the conversation of like, can you judge somebody based on the car that they have? My name is Zach. That is Anna. Welcome to the studio, K.Flay.
Yo.
hello.
Like, what does one's car say about them? And you're judging my Tesla right now.
I mean, you kind of prejudged your Tesla.
I just knew it could say something.
Well, everything says something, right?
Yeah.
We're all wearing clothes.
Totally.
Everything says something, which is actually kind of good, meaning abounds. However, my personal stance, and I just said this to you guys, I want my car to say nothing about me. I just want any person could drive my car. That makes me feel very relaxed. But I also understand that like cars are like an expression of personal taste and identity. However, I would say getting a Tesla like 2 days ago is...
No, I've had Teslas before.
Oh, so you're loyal.
Oh yeah, it's my third one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Loyalty changes it a little.
Okay.
Loyalty changes it.
What is so do you judge the Tesla because of Elon Musk?
Well, right. That's where I'm going with it. Just because he's, you know,
Let's talk about it.
well, he's a pretty like odious figure at this point, I would say, right? That's a pretty universal.
Yeah, I genuinely do not agree with anything that he does.
Right. But then, okay, but to your point, you take anything far enough up the chain, there's an evil person
Who's
at the
there?
top, right?
100%. Like, you think the guy who's really running Toyota or Honda is not corrupt?
His name is Dr. Toyota. I'm just kidding. It's not.
It's not the same as like Elon Musk is perpetuating a very, very dangerous thing with Twitter and like the way he really has no problem. Like, he controls the masses in a very unique way.
Yes.
That not many billionaires can say they do. That being said, I have enjoyed my car so much that I don't have to think about it. And I don't even want to give him the credit because I don't believe it was him.
Totally. I agree with that. I do not think he had anything to do with it.
Absolutely nothing. But whoever has figured out the process of
Yes.
the ease of the buying process to allowing me to have a car that requires zero maintenance for the entire time I own it.
Yes.
I've never had to change anything outside of like when I rolled over a nail, not a single tire, there's no oil to change. There's not a single point of maintenance.
Yes.
On top of that, it is so incredibly safe and so much science has gone into it all that like, I don't know, I really have enjoyed the process and it's very conflicting. It's like, I can still give this Tesla back and I've thought about it.
Right. Well, I think you're pinpointing a dilemma of the time.
Totally.
Which is like, we all know too much. You know, we used to kind of, not to say that like now there is no ignorance. Of course, there's tons of it. But like there's a lot of information out there. And so it makes decisions incredibly complicated. I think it's why a lot of people feel very paralyzed when they're making decisions. It's like, how do you move forward?
It's really interesting. And you studied psychology at Stanford.
I did, yes.
It's an interesting time we live in. And over the last few years, especially in culture and the way we like consume information, parasocial relationships.
Absolutely. I think, you know, I do think there is, and I wonder how you guys feel about this, but the inundation, the sheer act of consuming is exhausting.
Totally.
Which is like to say you've done nothing, right? Like you may have been inert in bed, like laying down, and you may be exhausted merely by the process of engaging with all facets of the world. The first time I ever was on TikTok for more than 30 minutes, I burst out crying. I called my girlfriend sobbing. I was like, I've seen too much. Like I saw too many things. I saw like some person who had gotten like in a car accident. They were talking about it. Then I saw like an inspirational story. Then I saw like a guy getting a haircut. Then I saw, it was just.
Think about the highs and lows one's going through in that very small amount of time.
Truly, it was like more than my psyche could withstand before I had really been like accustomed to it in any way. I remember I called her from like some random hotel on the road and was like, I just watched TikTok for 30 minutes. And I'm so scared. And I'm crying.
It's wild. Because in that moment, like you're expected to just keep moving, but the psychological impact if you really take the time needed to think about what you just watched.
Yeah.
Like nobody's given time to process any of it.
Oh my God. It used to be that like not to be like way back when, but there used to be like whole shows devoted to like a single haircut, like a 30-minute TV show devoted to one haircut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I say that because I love watching haircut videos, but anyway, that's just me. I love men's haircuts. Love men's haircuts.
Why?
Just find
Let's talk about
it
that.
really relaxing. It's satisfying. The clippers,
Like a nice fade, a nice taper.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I also kind of like there's a perverse part of me. I think the haircuts are so ugly. A lot of them, like the burst, taper, fade, all this stuff. I don't like the look of it, but I kind of like watching it happen. It's so detailed. It's so specific. Anyway,
Interesting.
I feel like I could be a barber.
You think so? I mean, by the way, that's how you started in music, right? You just heard pop music and you're like, oh, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
And then you made what started as kind of like a parody joke song, and you go,
Yeah.
oh, this is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Blingity,
And I
what is
think-
it? Blingity bling?
Yeah, yeah. And I think like, you know, I for me too, I was such a regimented teenager. I really like did everything you were kind of supposed to do. I played by the rules, and it was really nice to have a realm, a mode of expression where I could just do whatever, and no one had any expectation of me, including myself. So it was very liberating. So perhaps me becoming a barber would be equally liberating, because I don't know. Maybe I'd pioneer a whole new thing.
Exactly.
I mean, the power of the beginner.
Dude. Like, that's huge.
Yo, yo, ma, let's go. You guys know this book?
No, I mean,
It's great. I mean, Yo Yo Ma was a cellist.
yeah, I know him.
Okay. He has a book. I actually think it might even be free to listen to if you.
Audible, try it out.
I think it's on Audible. I think it was like an Audible exclusive or something like that.
Definitely is.
Is this right? What I'm saying?
I mean, I would assume, so I'm going to go with it.
Okay.
Go to Audible.
Anyway, but it's about beginner's mind. And like, even as you're an expert, even as you carry on in the field, always having the mindset of the first timer.
But that's genuinely how like one does not get comfortable but stays challenged and
Yes.
fresh and innovative and
Yes.
not stagnant.
Yes.
And like that is that is the only way that one who does something for so long has the ability to stay great at that one thing while also mastering other stuff.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, maybe it's time for you to give Dan a haircut. You want right here?
Down.
Wow.
Hey, go to the
That'd be crazy if we did that right now.
yeah, Kelsey, go to the office supply closet and grab a pair of scissors.
Kelsey's getting clippers. I probably need clippers. Your hair's kind of short.
Yeah, I get clippers on the side.
Do
Right.
you know? I feel like you could kind of assess them
I mean,
based
I
on
will
the
say
YouTube.
I've given haircuts before. I have given men haircuts before.
Okay.
That's the first time I've ever told anyone that.
Oh, wow. Whoa. Wow. What a,
Exclusive.
Shit.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Out of this, like, because nobody else was around? Or
Yeah, like in college, my boyfriend, I gave haircuts. You know, like stuff like that. My friends, back when like no one had money. Haircuts are expensive.
No, they are.
They are.
Also, like, I think with someone who has short hair, the stakes feel very low. It's gonna grow out. You know what I mean? Like, or worst case, just buzz it.
Yeah.
Like, it's very low stakes. But like, Zach, your hair is more
Yeah.
high stakes.
Yeah, you could really mess it up and see
I could really mess it up.
Yeah, you know.
So that's the haircut we should do.
I'm terrified. I'm okay. You mentioned your boyfriend. Is it weird to think, like, I don't know, about so long ago, a whole other version of yourself, genuinely? Than the one that's hanging out here today?
Then the one who has a girlfriend here
Yeah.
today. Well, you know, I feel pretty consistent, even though there are a lot of things I've realized about myself. And certainly my conception of my own sexuality massively has changed. My friends are like all the same, and a lot of the people in my life have remained very constant throughout my life. So it does feel crazy in one sense, but in another way, it makes a lot of sense. Do you guys feel very different to your like 18-year-old self?
Not really, but also
Right.
yes in some
Right,
ways.
right.
It's hard, like, you know, when I live with my boyfriend now. Like, even the thought of me like dating a chick or back in the day, like, very weird. Not weird, but not weird at all, actually. But like, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think about it. I ask you, and I haven't thought about it myself.
I mean, it feels. I guess the reason I answer this way is everything's felt very authentic to me.
Yeah.
Like historically, I've been attracted to men and women, so that feels correct. I don't think I fully had the sense of self or even like sense of awareness to be like, oh, I should try like dating a woman. I was kind of just like, I don't know. What was I thinking about?
Can you like listen?
Not that.
Can you listen to your music at the time and get an idea? Or did the timelines overlap, right? Music to that phase of your life?
No, I mean, I didn't date a woman until, it's 2024, 6 years ago?
Oh, wow. And you've
So
been
I've
making,
been making
music for
music.
forever.
I was like 3 albums. I was making my 3rd record.
Yeah. So you really can listen to your record back then and understand who you are now.
Definitely. I think it didn't have so much to do with my sexuality as it had to do with my relationship to being a musician, being on the road, drinking alcohol. Those things feel much more present and top of mind for me when I think back to my first 2 records. Because those first 2 records, I was still kind of, I don't want to say lost, but I was sort of figuring out how to be a person in this industry, which is quite hard to do, especially for me. When I started, I was kind of thrown into these all-male alternative rock environments. And I was like, you're supposed to drink whiskey. You know, that's kind of the attitude is like, yeah, we work hard, we play hard, we party, get up. And while I think there's experiences that I've had with drinking that have been positive for my personal development, it doesn't agree with me, like emotionally. And my biological dad died of substance abuse, and so it became a very fraught time. So the music to me at that moment really reflected that and that relationship. But I also think like being very open about my sexuality and engaging with it helped me to just in general be in line with like, hey, how do I want to be in this world? Like, yeah, I can also like be on tour with someone who's like, I love drinking. You should drink whiskey. And I'm like, I don't want to. And they're like, yeah, that's no problem. You know, so I think it was a little bit just like, hey, this life is what you make it. You know, we all carve our own paths. And I think, it just took me a little time to get that like confidence in a way.
And you're sober now.
I am, yeah.
You should be so proud of that.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you. It's
really hard and really incredible.
You know, I find it to be a very relaxing way to live. And I didn't, when I first started making music, I also didn't drink or anything. So I spent like maybe 8 or so years drinking alcohol and kind of got my fill.
Do you remember the day you like woke up? You're like, yeah, I got to stop this. This isn't working out.
Yes. I was just talking about this. And it wasn't like I consider myself to be sober, but not like capital S. So I'm not in like a recovery thing or whatever. I just sort of was like, hey, I want to stop doing this. It doesn't suit me. But it was like a couple days into the pandemic. I was like, feel like I should quit drinking.
When everybody starts drinking.
Yeah. Well, I kind of had a vision. You know, I had this like I had like a That's So Raven moment of my own life. I was like, you know, just imagining this kind of really isolated type of drinking, which for me just feels very
unhealthy.
Scary.
Yeah, it's dark.
Really scary. And by the way, that's not scary for everyone and not dark for everyone necessarily, but for me, definitely felt that way. So I kind of had that vision. We had like a Zoom birthday party for my tour manager. And we all like, you know, we're cheersing, beers, whatever. I woke up the next day, I'm like, I think it's over for me. And I had said previously for the past few years, like, I'm going to quit drinking soon. I was like gearing up for it. And then it happened. And I was like, I need all my wits about me. Because like what I love about being sober is at any moment of the day or night, you can call me.
Yeah, and you're there.
And I'm ready. Mm-hmm. Like I'm firing on all cylinders. Like I can be your Who Wants to Be a Millionaire question. I can like come pick you up. I could do anything.
You're the phone a friend.
Yeah, I am phone a friend. And there's so much like self-esteem and happiness that comes with that. You know, I'm not a parent, but my siblings are. And I feel like for them, being someone that like these kids can really rely on, it's very like empowering.
It's
really
special.
Yeah. And actually, speaking of my nephews, I put a picture of my nephew on this coffee.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Yeah, here at Amazon, we have a special machine that will print a photo on your coffee.
Listen,
Pretty cool.
life's good.
Life is good.
Life's good.
It's interesting. Like I've kind of been the same way with cannabis recently for a while, where I've been like, oh, I'm gonna quit.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting. I think eventually I'm gonna wake up and be like, oh, it's over.
Yeah, I think
Could be for good. Could be for not good. I don't know.
right.
Could be.
Don't you think it's kind of foolish to have the audacity to believe you know what will occur, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I
So
abstained
true.
from drinking. That's what's right for me. Yesterday, today, my guess is it's right for me tomorrow, probably for a long time. But like, shit is always changing. So I think not locking yourself into, well, now I've stopped. And sometimes like, I didn't talk a ton about not drinking for a while just because I wasn't even sure where I stood with it, So I also think like you could quit cannabis and not tell anyone for a year.
It's true.
Just see how it goes. Like no one has to know.
Are you a therapist?
Well, see, that's maybe another thing I should do.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're a great conversationalist, but I think your psych degree from fucking Stanford is showing.
Well, thanks.
You just have a good approach to situations. I mean, that's the right way to look at life, right?
I hope so.
Is that it's about yesterday, today, and maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. God willing.
Well, it's how you put it kind of into perspective and not to get lost and overwhelmed by the thought of forever.
Well, the thought of forever. Infinity will destroy the mind,
Totally.
So yes, I think staying grounded to what is happening and actually enjoying it. I was listening to Mark Maron's interview with Chris Pine on my run this morning, and they talked about Danny DeVito because I guess he's in his new movie, and he was saying like Danny DeVito loves every aspect of being an actor. Like loves being at craft service, making jokes, loves being on set, loves waiting around, loves doing press. Like just a dude who's down for it all and enjoys it. And to me, I always love hearing about people who've been doing anything for a long time, still find a lot of joy because I think anytime you're fully in the present, you do have the potential to be delighted and enriched, Sure. And so like this conversation, I'm grateful to have it, even though I'm kind of dominating it because of the format of an interview.
I love it, but also very grateful as well.
This is great.
Yeah,
So
it's
now
the
I'm
purpose
like
of your job.
Now I'm monologuing.
Well, you're doing a good job.
But you know what I mean? So it just makes everything, I don't know.
Do you use your college degree in the music you make, or at least in the creative process?
I use it in the sense that being a musician, and I know you guys talk to a lot of musicians, it's really just like, for most people, at kind of every level, it's a massive DIY enterprise, and it's being, I think, a really diligent learner and kind of producer of lots of different things. So I feel like the biggest way my education has impacted me is just in work ethic and desire to learn. And also kind of a confidence that I can learn. Because I think a lot of people I meet, they're like, oh, but I can't do it. I'm like, you can learn. You're smart. You could do it. No problem. And I think having the background of like having gone to a, kind of a prestigious place, you're sort of, I guess implied in that a little bit is like, you can do it. And
I totally get it.
That's very empowering. I feel like everyone deserves that, but not everybody is able to experience it.
Totally agree.
So anyways, if you're watching or listening, you could do it probably. Unless like, there are certain things that are just physically impossible. Like I can't play in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, within certain limitations, but you got to go for it.
Within reason.
Yeah. But consistency is a big part of why people make it.
That's the reason I have a career. Truly. It's just that
Same here.
That's the reason we're here.
I show up, I'm on time. I keep putting out records. I'm working on my 6th record right now, full-length
Crazy.
record.
And
Not
you-
to mention like EPs, mixtapes, collabs, whatever.
And you just put one out in September.
I just put one out.
Mono, by the way. You can listen to it on Amazon Music. It's great.
Thank you.
Great. So
Thanks.
you're doing it all on your own.
Oh, no. I have tons of collaborators. But I'm not sure how this next record, I'm kind of taking a different approach with this next record as I'm just beginning the process. So basically, I just finished a tour, like a very special, really, really inspiring tour last month. I have more tour dates like this summer and this fall and stuff. So in between that, I'm beginning to do the witch's brew. You know, I'm like percolating. I'm letting ideas simmer. I'm reading a lot of books. I'm watching a lot of movies. I'm having just a lot of conversations. Like, you know, I want to give you a haircut in the auditorium, you know? Like, that's like an interesting thing to say. Like, I want to give you a haircut on TV. You know, I don't know what it means, but it's evocative. And I wouldn't have thought about it if we hadn't had this chat. So
Interesting.
I'm in that place. But no, I will be working with producers. You know, I have many different collaborators, probably some new people.
Yeah, new people or the same people? How do you?
I mean, I honestly don't even know. I'm very early. I'm just beginning. Like, literally, I just started like 2 weeks ago. Just writing.
How do you know you're beginning? Do you force yourself to start or does it just happen?
Of deadlines.
Hello, beautiful human. Every year, millions of gamers experience IGSS, inadequate gaming setup syndrome. Luckily, a cure has been found. You have to go beyond. With the Vibrasonic mattress by Beyond Sleep. This thing has 6 built-in subwoofers, USB ports for charging, LED lights so you never stub your toe. It gives you an acoustic massage when you want it, plus adjustable degrees of comfort. This right here is the best way to game ever. Cure your IGSS today at BeyondSleepTech.com.
So why are you giving yourself a deadline for another album even though you just had one?
Because I can't wait to do it again. I enjoy it.
Really?
I enjoy it quite much.
What do you enjoy the most about making music?
I enjoy how very nascent thoughts in my head become clear as I write. So I have the inkling of a feeling, and then I start writing, and then it becomes a tangible thing. Like, I sort of make sense of my own experience as I'm going. And there's something very delightful about that. I love wordplay. I love word games. I think rhyming is incredibly fun. So there's like a puzzle aspect of it as well. You know, just like when you're doing spelling bee or a crossword puzzle. It's kind of delightful. I think writing music is similar.
Are you writing from imagination or from reality?
A mix. I mean, there's an argument to be said that, you know, there is no reality. It's all imagination. So I think I'm largely writing from my reality, but also informed by everyone in my life, because a lot of songs I sort of take my experience and meld it, you know, with the community of my peers and the people around me. Which so a lot of people are like, "Man, that song was so dark. Are you in trouble?" And I'm like, "Well, no, it's kind of a mix of all, you know."
Yeah.
So it's again that like witch's brew.
Explain to me that there really is. What is the argument you're about to make? That there is no reality? That imagination
Well, all
is
I'm trying
reality?
Well, right. Like, I'm not to get too heady about it, but like,
No.
I'm experiencing reality. To me, it is real. It could actually be very different from what you think is happening.
But sane people would say that this is a shared reality as we're both living it actively.
Totally. I just mean shades of it are different. I agree that I am here
I get it.
in
Yeah.
Culver City.
Yeah, where you're sitting, like I could look, you know, like you could
Right.
look at me and see a shade of purple, and Sam can look at me and see a shade of orange.
Right. So all I'm saying is that reality is an experience, right? Who's interested in the fact of reality? I mean, maybe someone like a physicist, but like, what I'm interested is in the experience of reality. Who cares what's actually happening, right? Like, all that matters is how it feels to you. That's the stuff. That's the sticky stuff. So I guess that's what I mean by their reality is imagination, because how we all perceive everything, it's totally contextual, which is what's beautiful. And not to quote this interview I listened to, but I just listened to it again this morning. They were talking about, as an actor, the whole point is to be you, because there's only one you.
Yeah.
You know, like you go to the movies to see
I mean, factually, each person has 7 doppelgangers out there, but that's a conversation for another day. It's true.
What? Say more on that.
You have 7 doppelgangers. Send her home with a receipt of links, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't deny.
7 doppelgangers. 7 people out there look just like you.
Did you read the book Doppelganger by Naomi Klein?
No, but I watched this TV show in the UK where they found these doppelgangers and
Okay.
they were looking for the pair that looks the most like each other and acts the most like each other.
And what happened?
Oh, there's like 12 pairs of people that are twins that have never met before. It's crazy. And they act the same.
And they act the
They
same.
act the same.
Yeah, you got to
So
watch
what
the
do you
show.
think that? What do you think that is? What's the conclusion?
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if the point is for there to be a conclusion outside of DNA is like, I mean, there's only so many shades of a person. I mean, personality-wise is different than
Right.
physicality and aesthetics, but like, it is crazy that you can have 2 people through all the lines of DNA find someone who can like scientifically be so close to your strand of DNA. That's wild.
Yeah, I'm intrigued about the end point of that, or maybe there is no.
I don't
end
know
point.
if there's an end
Maybe
point.
it's a curiosity.
Yeah.
It's an unanswered question. Well, I guess just to return to reality. No, I liked it. I think you might be interested in this book, or at least listen to the first part of it, Doppelganger.
Okay.
It's basically, without getting too deep into it, there's a person named Naomi Klein and there's a person named Naomi Wolf. And they are very, very consistently conflated on the internet. And they are very different people. And the book is about that the experience of one of the Naomis and this investigation of the nature of a doppelganger and this idea of the shadow self. Right? And like, think about how many, every superhero, right? It's the shadow self. We're always like, we're all on the precipice of like the worst version of ourselves, right? And then there's that like Jekyll and Hyde thing. So anyway, it's a very interesting book. Kind of depressing, but quite interesting. And she kind of goes on these weird tangents, and it's pretty fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You read a lot of books, eh?
Love to read. Love to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I wish I loved to read.
So do I.
Can I say how I think you learned to love to read?
Yeah.
Did you ever love to read?
Always hated it.
Do you have any like dyslexia type stuff? Or?
No, I just, when I get like a page in, I start like forgetting what I read. I start dozing off, thinking about other things, falling asleep.
Well, what I was going to say is I think reading is a muscle for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to train to like to read. It's kind of like running. You only like to run once you're good at it. No one likes to run when they're out of shape. I've never met a person who's like starting their running journey and is like, God, I love this. No. You know? So I find it very similar because it's an approach of like diligence. It's kind of annoying. Sometimes I'm annoyed to read and I supposedly love to read, you know? Mm-hmm. But I'm like, ugh. Like right now I'm reading this really long book called The Bee Sting. It's like 700 pages. And I'm like, when am I going to be done with this book? Even though I love it.
A lot.
So it's like I love it, but I hate it, but I love finishing the book. I love, you know what I mean? It's truly like working out. Like working out is so great when it's over. You're like, man, I'm so glad I did that. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel a lot of the times about books, even books I've loved. I didn't always love it while I was reading it.
But after.
But I loved it after.
Yeah, I don't think I've finished a book since like To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh my God, you should, not to be like, there are so many good books out there. There really are though. There's so many good books.
Yeah, I got to try it.
Oh my God. And the feeling of, again, power when you finish a book.
What's the power? What do you have? What do you get?
Oh my God.
Knowledge.
First of all, more so ideas, I think, and insight. You know, it's like novels are a great conduit for empathy. I feel like I'm going to kind of just say this and without fully having the annotations for it, but I believe there have been psychological studies done where they had people read pieces of nonfiction or fiction, like short fiction, and then had them like read about an emotional or morally complex situation. And people who read fiction are more compassionate.
Really?
Like if after reading fiction, your capacity for empathy and compassion is greater. I believe this is true. I'm kind of just saying it. I'm 99% sure it's true.
This is what you've been missing.
You think so?
So I think that is what is really beautiful about it. Like you feel more hopeful. Even a sad book, you're just like, you feel more expansive.
I like this. I'm going to try to read a book. I'll report back.
I I think you should read a short book that is enjoyable.
That's what I need. Do you have any recommendations?
Well, this isn't that short, but it's very enjoyable. It's called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. It came out last year, I want to say. It's probably in paperback now. It's not short, but it's really highly readable. But like, honestly, read the Da Vinci Code. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to read like William Faulkner or something. And it's also the same as running. You don't start running a marathon. Like the first book you read isn't like some crazy. Or read like Lord of the Flies.
I've read Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, but how much do you remember?
I mean,
I recently reread it. It's amazing.
I know Piggy.
Good.
Yeah. It's worth it.
I think it is worth it.
Yeah. Have you ever read Lord of the Flies?
No, I just don't like. I don't like fantasy. I think that's my problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, Sam. Your jaw just dropped. That's all you.
Wow.
That's like your life.
I get that. I don't read fantasy.
Okay. Lord of the Flies.
I mean, I
just
read
sounds
Harry
like fantasy.
Potter. Does that count?
Yeah,
But that's kind of like canon of human experience, don't you think? It supersedes fantasy at this point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You've never
Harry
read
Potter's
it, though?
like
No,
beyond.
I've never read Harry Potter or seen a book or a movie. I mean,
That's crazy. He's never even seen the movie.
Never even seen the movies.
It's nuts.
What were you doing instead?
that's a good question.
Yeah, that's not a critique. That's
No, I know.
that's genuine.
What
It's
were
very
you doing?
genuine.
That's a good question. I don't know. Now that I think, I like sports. So when
Okay.
other people are watching
So you're
movies and
yeah.
reading books, I'm like watching sports and things like that.
And what are your sports and teams?
Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, Eagles,
Okay,
all Philadelphia.
right.
But I do want to get into books because I have a really small vocabulary and I've wanted to expand that. And I just like reading's the best way to do it.
It is, for sure.
Yeah.
But you need to have comprehension and context abilities.
So what are you trying to say?
You need to be able to like really if you don't know a word, you need comprehension and context skills.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it may be hard.
Well, I'm gonna think about a book. I'm gonna think about a good rec for you.
All right.
Yeah, Cat in the Hat.
But you could also read a book about sports, like a novel about sports.
Does listening to audiobooks count, or do you actually have
Yes.
to physically read the book?
I mean, I have my own personal relationship to audiobooks. Meaning,
Yeah, like that's not really interesting.
yeah, it's less interesting. So here's the flip side to the thing about books for me. So I say I read some books with my eyes, I read some books with my ears.
Mm-hmm.
The books I read with my ears are pretty much all contemporary romance that I rent from the library. I'm incidentally 90 years old.
Wait, you go to the library?
Well, no, online, Libby.
Oh.
I really should be a brand ambassador for a free application called Libby.
Wait, so what is that?
Okay, do you have an LAPL, Los Angeles Public Library card?
No.
Well, you can get one online. And then you download this app called Libby. By the way, this is any library across the entire United States.
Oh, wow.
You download Libby, you link it to your library card, and immediately you have access to free audiobooks, free Kindle books.
Wait, what?
Yes. This is what I'm
That's
saying.
pretty cool.
I'm spreading I'm like proselytizing this thing.
That's really good.
So, and you don't pay
Whoa.
because books are free.
We're American.
We've agreed, like as a society, that books should be available.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean?
That's good stuff.
Don't forget that.
Knowledge
Don't
is
forget the
power.
library.
It's been a while, honestly.
By the way, the library is trying to like remind you that it exists, but it doesn't know how.
Well, it's rebranding. How do we tell them?
They need to talk to me.
Yeah.
I think I have personally been responsible for more people signing up for Libby than like
That's great.
maybe anyone else. It's just great. It's free.
You need a code.
So I'm listening to at any time a book that's pretty low on the like. It's not a complicated book, right? I'm reading it to relax. I'm reading it while I do dishes. I'm reading it to like engage with these feelings of like, oh my God, love. Love is so beautiful. Like you find authentic love when you connect to your authentic self. That's so great. It's very nice to be reminded of that. And then I read, more like literary fiction and more like harder books to read or whatever with my eyes.
The idea, well, interesting. I want to try this.
I think you
Maybe
should
this
try
is
it.
what I'm missing in life.
Like, you should listen to Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yeah, I've watched the movie.
Oh, okay. So you kind of know the plot. But I haven't watched the movie, but I have listened to it.
It's good.
Oh my God, it's delightful. Like you finish it and you're like, God, I feel good.
I'm going to try this.
Please.
I'll
listen
report
to it.
back.
Yeah, please.
You know Bretman Rock?
Say that again?
Do you know who Bretman Rock is?
No.
Oh, he's a social media star. I listened to his autobiography on audiobooks, and it was fantastic.
See,
And it
you've
was
read a book.
in his voice.
Look at you.
You've read a book there.
I'm a reader.
You're a reader.
Okay, you read one.
That's the type of shit I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And you might have been able to read it for free on a Libby.
Yeah.
Although you probably have some kind of like
Hookup.
free
Yeah,
Audible.
yeah.
Yeah, I would hope.
We don't. Not one bit.
Wow.
Wow. Mono, by the way, is the album you should listen to. It came out in September. So are you talking to us while being deaf in one ear?
Sure am.
Really?
Yep.
Maybe that's why my ear's so itchy right now. I'm sensing shit.
Yeah. You know what? Also, I've been so here's the deal.
I give you a lot of credit. That's really a scary thing.
Thank you. It was and is. Yeah, so I woke up one day, year and a half ago, deaf in this ear. And
Completely out of nowhere.
completely out of nowhere.
Scary.
Like I had just, and this by the way is not related, even though everyone, like 2 weeks before that, I had just climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. I was in like the best shape of my life. I was chilling, getting ready to go to Europe, like on tour, whatever. And woke up, crazy vertigo. I mean, I was in the ER. No one knew what was happening. And yeah, they're like, you have this thing. It's kind of like, it's just bad luck. It's like a form of just bad luck, you know? And there's a few things you can try for like a couple weeks. They put shots through your eardrum. I was in a hyperbaric oxygen therapy chamber in the basement of UCLA, which was a totally wild experience. Every day for like 4 hours. That didn't work. And then after 3 weeks, they're like, okay.
You're deaf now.
You're deaf now. And I had to do like physical therapy to get my balance back, and because it knocks out your equilibrium.
Mm-hmm.
So how have you regained your equilibrium?
Well, there's something called vestibular physical therapy. Whoa. Unbelievably. So it's for people who have like traumatic brain injury, sudden deafness, concussion. And it's like you stand on one foot and like watch a laser, follow a laser, like nutso, really, really wacky and very difficult. I will say the thing that this week that has been bugging me so much is, so in the ear that doesn't hear, I have a constant, very loud ringing and static. It's like a phantom limb.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So like, it's like your brain produces something in the absence of and like when sometimes it just gets really loud. And the past few days it's been really loud.
Have you thought about getting a hearing aid, or you just use
so I can't get a hearing aid because a hearing aid requires some level of hearing.
Really?
Not to get into the nitty gritty, but maybe it's interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I wanna know about it.
So a hearing aid requires, I'm going to go ahead and say like maybe 20% hearing. There's some threshold where a hearing aid can help. Because basically what a hearing aid does is it amplifies the sound wave because you're getting very little signal, and that way like the little bit of hairs, cilia in your ear can kind of get that signal. Nothing is receiving information for me or anyone who's completely deaf. So a hearing aid just amplifies nothing, right? So the real intervention that is kind of like, I want to say in the last 10 years been used for single-sided deafness is a cochlear implant. And so that, I don't know if you guys know, but it's basically they put a metal disc, a magnetic disc into your skull, and then there's a receiver that attaches via magnet to your outside. And so I'm sure you've seen people like with over the ear and then the little circle, and that provides you with your stereo input again, and really helps a lot of people with the tinnitus, the ringing, because that kind of can drive a man insane.
Yeah, are you worried about it?
About going insane?
Yeah, from it?
Somewhat. Yeah, so I'm
You could be the
actually
I mean, this is love. You could be the most sane person, but there's no way to like.
it's
You
it's challenging.
Yeah, you give
For
you a lot of
sure.
credit.
And it's worse when I'm in noisy places, which of course my job is to like be in a noisy place.
Yeah.
So I actually just began like the process of really like I'm in the process of being like evaluated for the implant.
Really.
So that'll happen like this summer because you have to get insurance approvals and all this stuff. But that way it's an option for me.
To give you that's so. I mean, really, one of my greatest fears.
Well, hey, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
It turns out it's also totally okay.
Yeah. That's.
You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's manageable. There's solutions. There's yeah.
Yeah. And
Totally.
also just like, life is just when we think like to me the poetry of like climbing this big mountain and being like, God, I'm so strong. And that's what I did at the top. Actually, I threw up so much at the top. I get migraines, but when I did this, I got like the world's craziest migraines. So when I get them, I throw up. So I'm on top of this mountain just
Projectile vomiting.
well, by the time I got to the top, there was nothing left. I'm just like dry heaving. And I was like, this is supposed to be my beautiful experience. Everyone is so sick at the top. Everyone's like, they look like they're on like opiates. Everyone's like really zonked out. We're not supposed to be
Nightmare.
up there.
There's no oxygen.
There's no oxygen. You're not supposed to be like my friend and I who did it together. We're laughing even though we were both just like in such pain. We're like, yeah, you know what the message is?
Don't do this.
Go the fuck down.
Yeah,
There's no
like-
birds. There's nothing. Nothing
Yeah,
is
it's
alive.
meant to be that way.
Oh my lord! Just
Why
the
do you want
hubris
to
of-
do that?
I don't.
Did you need an oxygen tank to hike Kilimanjaro?
No. So they do. You take I want to say it's called acetazolamide. I think I'm saying it correctly, which is a drug that increases your red blood cells' capacity to hold oxygen.
Wow.
Sick.
Yeah.
Really, very cool. So you take that, and it's a huge help. So it means that most people can make it up there. If you haven't been like living at altitude. But it was really like, we got down and we were just laughing. My friend Sam and I just laughing. We're like, so the question, why did I do that? Well, I like a challenge. I like things that are these like sort of rigorous challenges. It was very uncomfortable. I'm like interested in being uncomfortable. But again, the like sort of like God laughs thing is like I do this and then it's like, oh, you thought that was uncomfortable?
Here's ringing forever.
Yeah, here's like deafness, confusion,
Oh my God.
ringing, all your plans canceled. What you gonna do now? And so that was, I mean, it was a very scary time. But interestingly, the first song on this record, which is called "Are You Serious?" I wrote that 3 weeks after it happened.
Really?
So I was already kind of, again, talking about like making meaning out of it or whatever. I was already starting to be in that headspace, even though I was very disoriented and very, very distressed and like very thin. I lost all this weight. Like I looked, it was tough times.
Well, what are the biggest challenges getting in the studio and making music after, everything changes from when you started years ago?
God. Biggest challenge is recording vocals. Because I always used to, just how you're wearing your headphones,
Yeah.
monitoring ear, hearing ear. That's how I could gauge my pitch and understand like my performance was like, right, I can hear how it sounds with the processing and in context, and then I can hear it in the room. Now I can't hear it in the room, right? I have to hear it with the track. So that took time, and actually I think kind of set me free in certain ways because I just, you know what I mean? I couldn't even analyze it.
And by the way, like mentally, that allows you to focus on other things.
Totally. Also, this experience with the deafness, not to say it's my last fuck to give, because I'm sure I have many more that I don't even know about, but there are times where I've just been like, I'm sober, gay, half deaf, like, come at me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, what can I do? Even though lots of things, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like,
Sure, it's a lot of life to you when it rains, it pours, and it's fucking poured.
it's pouring.
Just go right in.
So that's kind of cool about it. Oh my God.
Have you had any thought of like learning sign language? Because that's one of the languages I really want to learn. Because I do have a secret fear of going deaf.
Okay, well, can I tell you what you should really do if you're afraid of going deaf?
Yeah.
You should get molded earplugs,
Okay.
wear them to every live concert you attend, every sports game you attend. Sports games, by the way,
So loud.
Dr. Philadelphia, are like, 150 decibels or whatever. These places are so loud. So get molded earplugs. They're super comfy. They cost like probably $250 to have done. And you can get them with like multiple levels of decibel reduction. So like you could be wearing them. I mean, you're on headphones right now, but you could be wearing them right now and still hear me and hear everything, but be protected. So honestly, do that. Take magnesium citrate
Okay.
every day, which is actually helps prevent hearing exposure related hearing loss. Your greatest risk of having any type of deafness is from sound exposure.
It's true.
So protect your ears.
Anything else?
I mean, don't listen to your AirPods super loud. Like, protect your ears.
Well, you listen to all of it. Your headphones are always way too loud.
Yeah, but I only listen to headphones here now.
Yeah, but how many hours are you here?
Oh, a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll fix that.
So I would just like turn it down. Start getting used to a lower volume.
Yeah, I'm gonna do like one of those TikToks. Have you ever seen those TikToks where they're like, "Oh, my friend was a nurse for like 15 years and she learned this." I want to do like my friend just lost her hearing in 1 year, and then you'll give me tips. It'll go viral.
Definitely.
I feel like this is a huge, like the more people should be talking about how you lost hearing in 1 year abruptly years ago and still are an incredible fucking musician and haven't skipped a beat.
Thank you. Well, partially, I never wanted to like co-opt it.
That, I mean, dude, it
Do you know what
takes
I mean,
a lot
though?
of strength. That is wild. I have an ear infection right now, and I'm like,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I've never had an ear
Yeah,
infection.
she's sorry, Zach. You're looking at the
Don't worry.
No, but I hear they're horrible. I've never had one.
Oh,
Can you believe that?
You have the ultimate
And then
ear
I know,
infection.
God,
Sorry.
just building up the ear infections every time I didn't get one. No, but actually, you know what? Probably the reason I went deaf is because a virus
Yes.
mistakenly gets into your inner ear. It just sneaks in and like kind of blows up.
Really?
Yep.
So there was no way to prevent this.
No.
This was going to happen whether you
No.
went to or not.
And that's like,
Were you
That's the thing about bad
experiencing
luck.
pain?
that's the liberating thing about bad luck.
Was there any pain leading up to it?
No. When I tell you, I woke up being like, oh, there must be something in my ear. Right? How in God's name would I ever think like,
Yeah.
oh, I just went suddenly deaf? I scheduled an appointment with urgent care. I'm feeling kind of weird. I start driving. I'm on the 10. I start feeling really weird.
Vertigo.
Really weird. I'd never been dizzy in my life like that before. I'm getting really scared.
Do you pull over?
I was almost at the urgent care. I'm like just holding it together with everything I have.
Oh my gosh.
I had called, I guess I had maybe, my girlfriend knew what was happening and she was getting ready to like come meet me at this place. And we actually weren't exclusive at the time. And her like showing up for me in this way, in this time was just,
That's real.
that's a big Sarah shout out. She's really like, and that was when my friends afterwards were like, dude, she's the best.
yeah, marry her. Yeah.
Yeah, like truly, just like this is because the way she communicated with my friends and family too, because she was like in the ER with me, just very, very kind. But I called my parents, because it was quite early in the morning on a Saturday. Not many people are even awake. It was like 7 a.m., something like that. And I was like, something's wrong. They're just like, it's okay. We're on the line with you. Just park. My mom's like, take a picture of where your car's parked because it was in a whatever, which was such a great idea because my other friends had to drive, pick up my car. And then I just started throwing up, like intractably vomiting.
What happens when you go to the urgent care like that? Do they ship you off to the ER or do they
Yes.
take care of you?
Yes, she looked in my ear and then the dreaded, oh God, I still feel it. She was like, there's nothing in your ear. And I was like, oh God. You know when you're just getting bad news?
But she doesn't even know in that moment what's happening.
No, but she goes, you need to go to the ER. I mean,
It's bad.
and then it was just this thing of
You're
like,
hoping you have a fucking spider in there, something you saw on TikTok.
exactly.
Yeah.
Much rather have a spider in there
Yeah, all day.
than nothing. I mean, the greatest ghost of all is nothing.
Yeah,
That was a bar.
Yeah, write that one down.
Yeah, please.
that was good.
It's why the wind is so scary.
So true.
Where does it come from?
Literally.
No one knows. I'm so scared of wind.
I get it.
I find wind very unsettling.
It
You
is
ever,
weird.
you ever
It is-
been in a wind storm?
Yes.
Like a derecho?
Too many times.
Like a, what's the other name for those? A brouhaha or something? It's not. Wait, no, I'm dead ass serious. It's like a beluga or something. It has a crazy name. Please, will you look this up?
Wait, what's it called? What?
Say derecho.
Well, that's how to spell that one.
Other-
First. Remember, I got a small vocabulary.
Derecho, like, and then type in like B, like beluga or something like that. Haboob. It's called a haboob. I swear to God.
Google Haboob.
Look it up.
I'm looking at
Look it up. Google haboob.
You know spell Haboob? Ha-boob.
Haboob.
Haboob. So haboob.
Yeah.
Haboob.
Oh, it is called Haboob.
What is it? What do you give its definition?
Please read this aloud.
Okay, 1 second.
If you,
Haboob.
if you can. This is the test.
A haboob is a type of intense dust storm carried on an atmospheric gravity current, also known as a weather front. Haboobs occur regularly in dry land area regions throughout the world.
Oh, I've been like, in the desert if there's
Yeah,
a sandstorm
I've been
or
in a
something.
haboob in Phoenix.
Ah.
It was. If
Scary.
anyone's listening from Phoenix,
Tell me about your Haboob.
well, we're sitting on the tour bus. All of a sudden, the sky goes orange.
Orange?
Orange,
Sky.
truly orange. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, what? And the driver shuts all the vents. Because, buses have all types of like ways the air can get in. And we went outside. Wind whipping everywhere and you can't see anything. It's like have you guys ever experienced this? You know what I'm talking about. Are you from Arizona or something like this? You have family out there. Haboob. See?
Haboob.
Haboob connect. Anyway, it was crazy. And then like 30 minutes later or whatever, it's over.
Weird.
But it's like
Weather's weird. The weather. Mother Nature.
Oh my God, the weather. Imagine being an ancient human.
Yeah, and having to experience all that for the first time.
And no one
No explanation.
No
How
one knows any-
terrifying.
Can you just think about this? Well, I don't know why I wanted to go here with it, but we're talking about being half deaf. Here's another thing I think that doesn't get discussed enough, which is menstruation. I mean, most people are in heterosexual relationships, right? Most men, just statistically. And then half the world's women. So that's what, like 90% of the world is dealing with menstruation.
It's a lot. I mean,
But you know the theory that misogyny originates from the ultimate magic that a woman bleeds and does not die. So I'm talking about go back to the ancient times. Imagine you're like 500 BC and your girlfriend, I don't know if they had girlfriends back then, some person who's around you is bleeding.
and alive.
And not only alive, but just thriving, vibing, and then stops.
And continues to live and thrive.
And then it keeps happening. Like,
And if a man did that, bled in the same way, they'd be dead.
yes.
It's interesting.
So that's kind of a theory. That's something
I
people
like
say.
that.
I love it.
I like that.
Me too.
We're all looking for a why. That's a good why.
That's a great why. Tell that to the doppelganger producers.
Yeah. That's some good stuff. Does that give you a reason?
Yeah, I think so.
What else are you thinking?
I'm thinking a lot. This is very fascinating.
Overwhelming.
Yeah,
for
what are you
right?
thinking? About haboobs?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about haboobs.
He always has the boobs on the line.
Do you too?
By the way, Mono is K.Flay's album. It's waiting for you. Is that mono based on the disease or based on the fact that you now listen in mono?
It is based on the fact that I now listen in mono. My world is mono. I do not get a stereo signal. Oh, here's another thing. I can't locate sound anymore.
What does that mean? So if you have a phone, like you're like,
So-
can't find my phone. Can you call it for me?
Correct. And I can't like I can tell sound is coming from your mouth because I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
But if I close my eyes and you talk,
Hello.
well, see, I know where you are, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Hello.
Really?
Like
That's
I
crazy.
straight up don't know. And the first time I realized it, I was on a walk with some friends right after it happened. And I was like, oh, there's a car behind us. We turn around. There's nothing behind us. Somebody's air conditioner, like up ahead, had turned on. So it's like me using context. Talk about context clues. It's like you reading and me hearing.
It's really scary. And it could be unsafe, honestly.
I know. It's scary.
Yeah.
Crossing the street.
Yeah. I mean,
Being
driving.
out and about is like you have to really double check things.
Are you
Driving,
comfortable with it now?
pretty comfortable. I'm very adjusted, and I went right back into like full on life pretty
Crazy.
quickly, which is good in that, you know, good for the brain adapting. But yeah, it never repairs. It's like depth perception. You need 2 eyes for that. For echolocation, you need 2 ears, and so that's been weird. Also, mono. I have a mono tattoo that my friend and I have a matching mono tattoo. But mono, of course, in Spanish, mono means monkey. So when I did all my interviews for Mexico, when the record was coming out, like the first thing I talked about with everyone, I was like, I do understand that the album's called Monkey. I do understand that. I did not think about that. I think that's kind of cute.
Do you hear music differently? Like when you were making this album, I'm sure you don't hear it the same way you heard your previous albums.
I don't hear it the same. I hear it more focused. So mono, another way to think about it, is just less information. So stereo means you can experience like panning, you can experience reverberation in different ways. Mono is just less input. So it's actually a strategy a lot of mix engineers will begin their mixes in mono because it helps you focus on what matters in a song. Because there's just not like, I mean, stereo, at least as it pertains to music, is also connected to this notion of width. You know, a sound that is really wide, right? It goes all the way from left, all the way to your right. When you're mono, it's just all down the middle. And so for me, I think it's helped me to focus on what matters in the song a little bit more. And again, I think opened me up to be just very creative, less critical. Not holding myself to a lower standard, but just less immediately critical of an idea or a sound. So I think that's the big way that it's changed the process for me. Listening to music is kind of tiring, so I listen to less music now.
That's interesting because you do have to work so much harder.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, you're hearing it through. I mean, also your ear is taking in a lot. That one ear
Honestly,
is having to take in
I
a
know.
lot.
I think about this ear and I'm just like doing so much.
She's paying her rent.
Oh my God.
Her checks are paid.
Working overtime. Yeah. This ear is truly doing God's work. So yeah, it's different. The one place where I don't even remember about my deafness or anything is on stage though.
Well, I was gonna ask, isn't it difficult because you are kind of your equilibrium is off?
Right. You know, I went so hard with my training. I have like better balance than I ever did now, which is crazy.
That's sick.
Which is kind of sick. And actually something interesting my physical therapist told me, he's like, because you have this, because you're more at risk to become dizzy and unbalanced, and because I have kind of sporadic vertigo, just like a little bits here and there, he's like, you're probably going to have to be a very like in shape old person. And he's like, you'll probably like, you know, not fall. You know, because like when you're like, you get older, like
Fragile.
falling is like crazy. So probably I won't fall. But being, I mean, God,
Hey, glass half full if I've ever seen one.
I
Can't hear, but I got better balance, and when I get older, won't fall.
right. Well, I mean, but
Probably won't.
I just listened to a book called Outlive. Anybody know this book?
No, but is it about someone who's like going crazy about their health and wanting to like age backwards?
No, it's about
Good guess.
Context clues, you know what I mean?
It's about no, but I think you're kind of like not wrong in a way, but it's about this dude talking about this notion of health span versus lifespan. So we have this idea like, okay, you live to be like this old, but like, what's your quality of life like? Yeah, maybe you're 92 or whatever. Can you move? Are you experiencing cognitive decline? Like, that's not a high quality of life. So his whole thing is like, how do you basically, like, I'm summing the book up, but like, how do you basically live, and then die? Instead of how do you live, get sick, decline, oh gosh, it's worse, it's horrible, die. And I'm definitely trying to go.
You want to go up.
Live, die.
Okay, got it.
Don't you?
Yeah. I mean, my grandfather, he was like 95, passed away a couple years ago, but he once told me the worst part about it was all of his friends are dead. So he's the only one alive, and he's just like, what am I supposed to do? I can't walk, and all my friends are dead. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a terrible way to live.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you just want to live
And just,
and then just pass away.
mm-hmm.
So, why am I talking about dying again? Well, I guess maybe because right, I'm not going to fall. He talks about like falling is one of these ways your decline starts. It's like the catalyst for the decline.
That's terrifying.
God, it's like sometimes I'm like, I'm here ostensibly to promote my music, right? Like, why am I here talking about like that, about falling as an elderly person? Like this is.
I love it. I think you're an amazing personality and a great guest. I got to say.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for having me.
You really are good, and we've covered. We've run the gamut on almost
I've
everything.
This chat.
Here.
But going
we're not
to actually the topic at hand, okay, so my balance is good, and during my balance is fucking amazing. During the show,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I forget about the ear. It's maybe one of the only times when I really forget about it.
That's amazing.
Because I'm just so, as a musician, there's no time that is present like the show. Actually, my girlfriend said this amazing thing that a music teacher of hers had said to her when she was younger. Like asking a question to the kids, what's rock and roll? Rock and roll is right now.
Fuck yeah. It's true.
It's just right now. So like, however you are at the show, that's it. You know, it's easy to get caught up. I've been on stage quite a bit. I'm always nervous. Always nervous. I've basically never not been nervous for a show.
I mean, because it matters to you. People
Totally.
are nervous for things they
Right,
hear about.
nervous, excited. And sometimes I can, start to psych myself out. And when she shared that with me, I was like, man, I love that. It's right now. My ears ringing, this is that. I'm nervous. This just happened. I had a weird dinner. My stomach feels bubbly, That's rock and roll.
It's true.
What was the experience filming the Raw Raw video, seeing your bloody ear on the ground?
Oh.
That's kind of rock and roll, right?
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing's kind of punk rock in the sense of like, if my friend said this to me recently, we've decided that punk rock is anti-annihilation. Anything that preserves us is punk rock.
Okay.
You feel me?
I get it.
Because I think there's a notion that like for somebody to be like punk, it's like destructive.
Totally.
And I actually would argue that the most punk thing you can do is survive and thrive.
It's true.
Right? Like that is kind of punk rock. So it felt great seeing that ear on the ground because, again, a reminder that I'm still here and I'm still doing it. And I'm still actually finding quite a bit of joy and delight and not taking myself too seriously because that's a horrible thing. You never want to. I don't know if you guys ever get people in here who are just. You don't have to name any names. I just mean like.
Take themselves too seriously?
Yes.
Oh.
We sure do.
Do you know the show?
I mean, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's.
But it's a combination, right? You can't take yourself too seriously, but you should take yourself seriously enough to know that what you do matters.
Absolutely.
It's a whole balance.
You can be serious about what you do, but not take anything too seriously. In the sense that, like, when you zoom out, it's like the marbles at the end of the Men in Black movie. The aliens.
Yeah, I get it. Interesting.
That was a very disturbing scene to watch when I was a kid.
Makes you think about things differently.
That was a very disturbing ending to that movie. I would actually rank that as like a formative disturbance. What do you? Oh, that's a good question. What do you think is a formative disturbance?
Oh, I mean, where do we begin?
Well,
9/11? What?
Okay.
I mean, this is really dark, but yeah.
Yeah, but
of
I'm saying a
course.
formative disturbance.
I mean, totally, too. I think a lot of people.
Yep.
Literally. I mean, by the way, it doesn't matter who you are, no matter your generation. That was a huge disturbance to the way people lived.
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
it's interesting. It's interesting.
What's your
conversation.
formative disturbance?
It's a huge couple words put together here. I'm just trying to process the whole question right now.
I mean, I can go like, my parents' divorce. I mean, it's personal. And then there's formative disturbances that generationally people share.
Yeah.
I think formative disturbances that like span generations that people share.
There's also, and I think I'm getting into the cultural product disturbance, but like there are films we see, things that like disturb our minds.
Yeah, that hang with us.
That they never leave.
Like I remember watching like God, what are they called? Final Destination movies.
Oh yeah,
That's formative disturbance.
Yeah, weird shit.
Very, very scary.
Six was
I mean, of course, yes, formative disturbances can be like, death and these types of things. I'm thinking kind of like these like books or these movies, these things that kind of worm into your head and they oddly never leave. Like I still think about that Men in Black ending, which I think is meant to actually be a ha-ha moment.
But it isn't.
It was not.
No, it makes you think.
That was a wow moment.
Yeah, the aliens are playing us, man. It's pawns in the game.
Formative disturbance. Should I call my next record that? It's very nice.
Hey,
it is.
Formative disturbance.
this is a good little inspiration session for you.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, welcome. You can listen to Mono, though, and all the rest of K.Flay's music on Amazon Music. There's a link definitely on the screen, in the chat.
Somewhere.
Find it. Check it out. What are you thinking?
I just wish I had a better answer for the question, so I'm kind of disappointed with myself here.
That's okay.
It's one of those things that as soon as you walk out, it's going to come to me.
Do you remember something that scared you as a child? What were you afraid of?
My house was struck by lightning once.
Whoa.
That's a formative disturbance.
It was crazy. It was this huge pop, and the whole house went dark. I'll always remember that. And I was sitting in the back of the car outside holding the cat, while my parents ran around the house looking for the other cat.
Wow. Was
so
it just
strong.
you in the car?
It was me in the car. I don't know where my brothers were. They were running around somewhere.
Wow.
But when you said that, that's what I thought of.
That's a great story.
And since then, Dan's been afraid of things like lightning, fire, a bunch of things.
I hate fire. I hate ovens. Ovens are terrible.
How do you cook?
He doesn't.
Every other way. I don't cook, but
Yeah,
I'll
if you
use
were to cook.
I'll use the stove.
Yeah.
I'll use a microwave. Definitely won't turn on an oven. That's like a hot box in your
Definitely
house.
won't turn on the oven. I just see what you're saying.
He's
I was
okay
in a
with
house fire.
Oh, really?
That's
Hate-
my biggest fear.
Hate to tell you. Yeah. I hate to. Both of your worst fears. Oh my God, I'm
have.
incarnate of your worst fears. Going deaf and being in a house fire.
You were like your house burned down while you were in it,
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't completely burn down,
but
but
there's flames indoors.
yeah.
They don't belong there.
Yeah, and then it was destroyed. Yeah. That happened pretty recently, 2019.
What?
How'd the fire get caused?
A lithium ion battery exploded.
What? What do you vape battery?
No. Oh my God. Also, I would like to, I don't even know what time we're at or if we need to stop talking, but maybe you guys have a little insight into this. I want to talk about vape shame.
What, shaming people who vape?
No, not, I don't.
Or we want to shame people
No,
who
no,
vape?
no, no, no. Not like act of shaming.
Okay.
The feeling of shame that
For
vapors
vaping.
have.
Oh, interesting. Are you a vapor?
I'm not a vapor.
Oh, you're empathetic to them, though.
Well, I've had several conversations with vapors recently who have been incredibly ashamed and apologetic about this vaping.
Oh.
And I'm curious if that's new. Has it always been that way? I don't know. I don't really have a lot of vapors in my life.
There's like two different types of vaping. There's like the THC vape and then those who vape for the clouds, and they do the nicotine vapes.
Right, I'm talking about the latter.
Yeah, the nicotine vapes are a little intense, man. Like they're like a lot and they smell like, you have cotton candy coming out your pie hole.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much. But I understand why they're addicted. I get it too.
My roommate is 72 hours into quitting her vape. Yes, she is. And the withdrawals are crazy. She's up at night sweating. She
Wow.
can't sleep.
Really?
Her lungs feel like they're heavy and like collapsing in on her, but it's all part of it because they're just craving it. But yeah, she's 72 hours
Wow.
in, and it's interesting to watch.
I've never done that. I've never smoked nicotine vapes. THC all day. Nicotine, no.
I've never had a nicotine vape or a THC vape. I guess.
You. I mean, you would know. That's like you're
yeah.
smoking. You're like literally
I'm just
sucking
like-
on a
yeah.
You're sucking
Like
on a lawnmower.
Yeah, no.
You're sucking on a vacuum.
Yeah, no, I
These things are
didn't do
huge.
that. But the house fire.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how when you check into a flight
Yeah.
and they're like, "Do you have any lithium-ion batteries in your bag?"
Yes.
The reason they ask you that
Is because they'll explode.
is because these motherfuckers just do explode.
and
So I didn't have a vape in the house. I was at my folks' place for literally for a day and a half to help them with something. One of the things that I helped them with, they live in Northern California. There's lots of brownouts and electricity things, right? So they had gotten a large backup battery, like a big, I have a Jackery one, but like another brand similar that will power all the shit in your house for 2 days or a day and a half or something. And my mom was like, "Can you charge it for us? Can you plug it into the wall? Let's charge it while you're here so that we have a charged thing." Charge it. 4:30 in the morning. I straight up think a car has driven into the edifice. I'm like, what? Wake up and run into the living room. Shit's on fire. I mean, it was so shocking.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So it lit the couch on fire. I also found out from the fire department afterwards, because that's what started it. The battery exploded and then it lit the couch on fire and then the couch acted like gasoline. So here's the deal. All new furniture,
it's covered in something, right?
it's made out of basically chemicals that the fire department were like, it is like more flammable than gasoline. I don't know if that's possible, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's on that level. Whereas olden furniture that's like wooden takes much longer to burn. It's way safer to have older furniture. So I guess buying vintage, after all,
It'll save your life.
will save your life. But yeah, so then it lit everything on fire. And then within, seconds, the whole place is black smoke. Because the smoke is what will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Most people who die in a house fire die from smoke inhalation. So you got to get out. We did. I woke my parents out. We ran. My poor parents, like they were just.
Were they asleep? Well,
Yeah, it was 4:30 in the morning.
Oh my God.
We were all asleep.
And you woke up from what? Sound?
The explosion, the sound of the explosion. Back when I had 2 ears, thank God.
Wow. If you had one?
Yeah, I know, literally.
Oh, different story.
Because now, you know how I sleep now?
Huh.
I sleep on my good ear. I call it going to my safe place. I sleep on my good ear. I kind of can't hear shit. Because then the only ear facing up
That's so
is the deaf one.
That's terrifying.
I know. So it's really good it happened when it did.
Okay, glass half full.
Yeah.
You're really positive.
Which is crazy because your music is very dark.
I know. But that's how. That's how.
They balance each other?
Just get it out. You
Get
know?
it out of the music.
Everybody has the darkness in them. I think it's like when you don't have an outlet for it, that's when it builds up, So it's good to have an outlet for it. But yeah, people are often very shocked, especially when I was first starting out, when I was quite like buoyant and,
Chipper.
chipper. And my hair used to be black. This is my natural color, but
Well, like blood on the cut days?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was black. I dyed my hair black for like 10 years.
Wow. A lot of work.
A lot of people. Kind of easy.
Really?
Just box dye from like Walgreens. CVS.
It looks good.
Thanks.
Yeah. Go natural.
It's easier. It's way less expensive. Even though it wasn't expensive to dye my hair from a box. But
Looks good. Mm-hmm. Be you.
anyway, it'll be okay if you're in a house fire. But I will say, check your smoke detectors. Make sure, because that was what like ultimately,
Saved you guys?
yeah. Like the smoke detectors, they go crazy. And then their place, they have like a 1-story place, like a condo. There's sprinklers. So then the sprinklers did ultimately get set off.
Oh, wow.
But then the thing is the sprinklers destroyed the house.
So it's either the fire or the water damage is going to destroy it all.
Correct. But we live to tell the tale.
Yep, here we are.
Not dead yet.
That's right.
Not dead yet.
Listen to Mono and all of K.Flay's music on Amazon Music. Please. Give it your time.
Please.
Give it your ears.
Yeah, both. Or one.
Whatever you got.
It sounds good in mono.
You good?
Yeah, I think so. It's life as a dog. Almost 10 years of that. How's that feel?
Oh my God. Crazy. Well, it's very weird to have a career. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
In a great way. So I feel very excited. We've pressed up. I mean, I guess I haven't talked about this, but no matter. We've got some special vinyl announcements around the 10th anniversary. Life as a Dog is kind of a rare. This is my first record that I put out independently. I just gotten dropped by RCA. I was like, I don't know what's happening, and kind of got my shit together, put this out, and then it sort of established me and set me on the path. But that vinyl's quite rare. We've already done one repressing like a couple years ago, but it's a fairly rare vinyl. So we're doing some things in the vinyl space to celebrate.
Exciting.
And I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that I continue to be able to make music and be creative and still love it, because that's the thing. You don't ever want to be that dude who's like, this fucking job, this kid, this young shit. I hate new music. Oh, don't do that. Don't be that person.
Jaded, angry.
Don't be jaded and angry.
Not right.
It's very corrosive. It's certainly demoralizing. It kind of makes everyone around you, including yourself, feel bad. Anyway.
I'm with you.
I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Of course.
And that record was a real labor of love. And that was like me and my manager Seth, who I've been with since day one. And so there's just a lot of great memories for me personally in putting that out. And I was also such a dumbass at the time. You know what I mean? Like I also did not know what I was doing. And there's something nice about remembering that.
Totally. And now letting it come back in a physical form. Prepare yourself.
Oh yeah.
Follow K.Flay's page on Amazon Music. Maybe we'll sell the vinyl on Amazon Music. I don't know.
Whoa.
That'd be nice.
They sell them on Amazon,
I mean, let's get into it.
Never. Say never.
For some reason, when I said that, the image of hopscotch on the
On the
sidewalk. I was about to say
on the sidewalk?
A hopscotch on the sidewalk came into my head.
all this inspiration.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go about your day. Have a great one. I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys
You're
for having me.
You're really incredible.
Yeah.
K.Flay here today. All of our music waiting for you on Amazon Music. I really appreciate you. Thanks for being here.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, this was a lot of
That
fun.
was awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
And
Thanks.
big thanks to you for spending your night with us. I really appreciate you as well. Good night, Moon, and good night to you. Be safe, hug your family. Don't go to jail. Get good sleep. And we'll hang tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And protect your ears.
Yes, please.
Protect your ears.
Ear safety matters.
It does.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace and love. Bye.